Hello everyone, welcome back to another live stream here, back for the IRT event. We're just getting some people into the chat right now, but we're back for the 11th round of the IRT event. The season is nearing its end, and with the championship, I'm pretty sure already wrapped up. We're gonna have some fun for the last couple of races, especially with the midfield battle. Proved to be very tight. Let me just quickly get the standings up, because of course we have them calculated before the graphics have been released. Let me quickly go to this chat right now, and indeed I'm pretty sure, yeah, Relentless have won the championship already with 2 rounds to go. Let's watch some cars on board now, on board with JR, who's the first car out. But Relentless have won the championship, so congrats of course to them. But this means our focus will mainly switch to the midfield battle, where there's still a massive battle for 4th till 8th place here, as BNRA with 82 points are in 4th place, and then it's with 68 points it's ESW, Evora on 66, IRT on 64, and then in last place in the event is CPI with 61. But with the standings being so close to each other, everything can change. Everything can change within no time, hopefully. Hopefully everyone is good in the chat. Hopefully everyone is enjoying the stream already, despite us only being started for a minute or two. As we see everyone pretty much coming off the pitch right now around the Soundful circuit, a very tough circuit to get right, especially with of course the change they made a couple of years ago to the circuit. It's a very difficult circuit. Also on the F1 game. Also, we're gonna start with a JR right here. On the medium tires, actually makes a mistake right here in qualifying. Did he pick up some rear wing damage? I'm not too sure, but the banked corner proved to be very difficult. Did he hit the inside curb in turn 3? I'm pretty sure that is. It may have well been the case, but that means his lap won't count. Also now just quickly go on board with Jaume. Let me quickly get the telemetry up, the data and the map, of course. Of course, he sets a purple sector 1 as he's one of the first guys to set a professional lap right there. Looks to be fairly tidy so far. On the medium tires, of course, going to be fairly difficult here. The soft tires are going to provide more grip in qualifying, but in the race it might be a very different story. As a 49.1 middle sector here, good cut-off point we can use during this qualifying session right here, as Jaume is making his way towards into the final sector, going towards the line right now. What time will he do? Opening the DRS for F1 lovers go fastest, as now Jaume goes faster with a 10.6. Of course, Jaume was very quick and competitive in qualifying around Paul Ricard, but it just proves in the race he was just falling backwards. Of course, he did have a slight incident with ESW JR, but he was still falling backwards very quickly, as now Marcus actually goes fastest on the soft tires, quickly beaten by Mr. BT, who says a 10.1 right here. So I think that's going to be at times most guys will do today. I mean, most guys probably go into the 9s, but I think a low 10 could be the benchmark right here. And of course BT, we're glad to see him back into racing once again, as his teammate goes in P5, now actually down to P6, as Victor's gone to P3 for NRL, as Bas is going to P6 before I got cut off there by saying Victor's name. But he's in P6 right now on the medium tires, ahead of Evan Laffer, who was also on the medium tires. Edwards on the soft tires, did a 10.6. So Jaume's lap was actually really good there on the medium tires. In P4 right now with about half of the grid still needing to post a lap here. As we see B's now Coming to sector 1 here with a beautiful relentless livery here. You see some yellow flags with Foucault slowing down, but P is now making his way through the first sector. He does a 24.4 here. Not a purple sector, so I reckon it's going to be around P2, P3 still. As P is a very quick driver here, who's fairly competitive. You see a spin in sector 1 right now. Seems to be fine so far. Car has managed to keep going once again. P is now coming to sector 2. He does a 48.8, which is 3 times faster than Jaume. So the time is fairly close to BT. If he can nail that final sector, then he should be on pole for the moment. Coming around the final corner now, the banking here. Going towards the line. Senna's gone on to P2. Good job from him so far. Now indeed P has beaten Mr. BT and goes P1 here for Relentless. Hoping to get a very good result for the final couple of rounds here. As of course they have claimed the championship already. But of course you do want to end the season on a high note. As he's actually locked up there. Not great for his tires, but just moving out of the way for everyone here. But good job from him so far. Back on board with JR. He's got a little bit of traffic from Farrell Furry. He's actually spun. He's hit the wall there. As we got a message. I'm gonna check that in between sessions here. But JR has actually spun. Could that be because of traffic? But I hope that's not the case. That's actually being messaged quite a lot right now. I'm not sure why. We will check that fairly soon. But I think ideal for JR, who's most of the time a decent qualifier. So now I'm back on board. We're gonna switch on board to Seep, but now we also did a 48.8 middle sector. So at the same time as Seep, can also says Peace, same name pretty much, going towards the line right now, using the DRS towards the line. Can he beat Peace's time? He cannot. He goes P3, just behind BT. So all the drivers who compete in CRL are now first, second and third, as Urbeck's gone into fourth place on the medium tires, interestingly. So very good lap there from him. And IRT very high up as well. If they want to overtake BNRA still, then this is a very good position to be in still. I reckon plenty of guys still needing to post a lap and will move up in the standings still. But I think it's a good lap from Seep, who's actually being beaten by Ruud Gullit. So about a 10th between the top 4 right now, which is extremely close. It's still Zandvoort, not the biggest of circuits, but a 10th is still pretty much nothing here in this qualifying session. But then again, there's still 10 minutes left in this session, so we should be looking for a lot of improvement here. And I'm certain that Xiaon will be around the mix full pole position, as he does a 48.7, which is a 10th quicker than Peace and Seep right now. Very good middle sector there from Xiaon, so he will be in the mix for the pole position right now. Of course, he is a very good qualifier here for LFR. Coming towards the line now, using the DRS, shortest way to the line, and he takes pole position right now with a 9.9, the first drive to beat the 10 mark here, and he certainly has a big advantage at the moment here for LFR. We're now in first and fourth, so good job from them, and they're still in the battle for second place. BNRA or apparently we're having, apparently there's assist enabled. I'm not sure why, because I did check the settings. Let me quickly fix that, because that's of course I'm not gonna. Oh, let me. Apologies for that, guys. Let me quickly make the change right there, because of course ABS is not allowed. It's a line-only competition, so Our speed's now improving all this time. I'm quickly just gonna try to fix this. If it's on, then oh my god. We're gonna have a quick restart, guys. We're gonna have a quick restart here, so I'm gonna leave the session here. A bit frustrating that, but that's my bad, guys. I do apologize for that. We're gonna do a quick restart here. I didn't mean to do that. I mean, it's probably the best decision at the end of the day, because people can probably turn it on, and that's, yeah. Oh my god. Oh well, it's gonna create a new session here for everyone. Let me quickly load the 50%. So if people on the chat right now, I do apologize here. We're gonna give a quick restart here, and of course indeed, ABS, gearbox, line only, traction control off, ABS off, this all off. Just got confirmed by the chat, it was a dry race, so I'll put the conditions on clear. Hard conditions on. No, that's there you go. Rules and flags. Safeguard, choose on. Okay, let me quickly invite the guys back in so we can get this race started once again. Just good enough. We will have the qualifying session again, because of course we didn't manage to get the session completed, so we will have a new session for the drivers. Let me quickly check. Damn it. Let me. I missed someone. I'm pretty sure. Let me check who it was. Pretty sure everyone in the. Oh yeah. Let me check. No. B team. Pretty sure. Let me quickly check the settings again. Before it all goes wrong once again. We don't want to have that once again. Short qualifying, 50% race. Let me quickly get these saved so it doesn't happen again. Missing 4 drivers still, 3 now. Need Senna. This guy. Show. Only we need 1 driver still. And then Sinarin. Let me check who it was. They are wait. Wait, 15, right, yeah, 16, perfect. Double check then, in case I did Jeff, kinda sucks, but yeah, yeah. It happens now, we restart. I think the restart was the best idea we could do, because otherwise people would have used ABS, and that's not allowed. So we're here once again at this qualifying session. Of course, we just had a little bit of an in-spring of how this qualifying session would go, but of course now it will be the legit session as ABS is now turned off, including every assist pretty much, and hopefully we're gonna see an enjoyable race and qualifying session, of course. Oh yeah, there you go. 18 minutes. 18-minute qualifying session we're gonna see, and of course we still did so sometimes on the board, and then we'll see how this qualifying session is gonna go. Of course, now we see cars coming out now on the medium tires, plenty on the mediums, and some on the softs, including Bas, who's on the medium tires right now for CPI. Because this does give an opportunity for guys to have a second opportunity without ABS. Hopefully everyone won't be a cheating bastard. Of course they can't be now, so we should be looking forward to an exciting qualifying session. Hopefully, as Schaum is, I think, very quickly out of the box, as actually his teammate Ruud Gullit being very quick to he's ready to start his lap, that's for certain. And Schaum behind him on the medium tires. He did a very good medium run last time. Same for Urbeck, so let's see how this is gonna go. Now most of the guys coming out of the pits, most on the soft tires, most of course on the mediums as well. We see the Aston Martin stage car right there on board with C coming out of the pits right now, also on the medium tires. He's thinking better of it. So some yellow flags is now people starting their runs finally on board with Peace right now, going kind of slowly on the soft tires. Must say he's got a beautiful helmet that right there suits delivery fairly well. So on board with JR, of course, the driver who has represented ESW most of the times, and of course by that got the most points for ESW, and hopefully he can put up a good result right now, getting a purple sector on, being the first one on the lap, but actually invalidating on the exit. There, so his lap time won't count, unlike John, who's still on that lap just behind his teammate, who's also starting to very close to the apex. Of course, that inside curb can make you spin out, so drivers do want to avoid doing that, as there's a 49 flat middle sector on the medium tires. Very good middle sector there from Schaum. I think Schaum is on an incredible lap right now on those medium tires. I think this could be near a low 10 on the medium tires, which certainly will bring him close to the top 10. And he does a 10.5 on the medium tires. What a lap there from Schaum. And his teammate behind is going for a second one, who did a 17.9. Not accurate lap time right there, as Senna now going towards the line right there, as he's completing his lap, but not an accurate lap time. That's a 19.9. I think he can go faster than that. As Peace, Bas had the same issue, but PT going second faster with a 10.7, also on the medium tires, but 2 tenths behind Schaum, as Max is going fastest just about, but he's on the soft tires. So I reckon Schaum will bring he will put on a set of soft tires and certainly move forward. Now Joey is going full fast, so both BNRA drivers in a good position right now, but with half of the lobby still needing both a lap, it's gonna be a I think it's gonna be slightly different after this after a couple of minutes. Of course there's still 13 minutes left on the clock here. Senna, I think, going into the pits, because I don't think it's an accurate lap time. Let's see. Coming to the final corner right now. Could be a decent lap right now, going towards the line. 6, 8, 9, 10. It does an 11. It does an 11 flat, which is P5 for the moment. On the medium tires, quickly beaten by Peace. So Senna down to P7 as Bas, and Siep has now beaten him. So Senna from P5 to P8 within no time, but Peace with a really good lap time, a 9.8, fastest of the day so far, even faster than the session before. So good job from him right now, but there's still 12 minutes left of this qualifying session, as he's taking an alternative line off the Zandvoort circuit. Siep on the medium tires did a 10.6, a 10th behind Schaum, so that's a really good lap time from Siep. Siep really impressive performance so far, especially last week where he got P5 behind his teammates. So IRT got some points in the back. As Bass has done a 10.7, which is also a decent time on those medium tires. The medium tires just proved to be a lot slower than the soft tires, but these guys are on a different level right now, and they certainly prove that they're still very competitive against the soft tires. Trying to have an alternative strategy here, so they can move forward in the race, where most, of course, every point is scored. With only 16 drivers on the grid right now, there's more opportunity for guys to go on an alternative strategy, but also to be closer into the points. Every retirement will see you get closer to the points, and with 4 less drivers now on the grid, or 2 actually normally, then that will help you bring full close to the points. But let's see, of course you want to be as high up in the top 10 as you can. Now we see cars coming out now. I think that's JR, who's actually, no, it's not his teammate, but actually we completely missed it. Apologies there, JR. He's gone second fast here with a 10.1, just behind Peace right now. But then again, it just proves that JR has got really good pace, and that he can use that pace to score points for his team. And he's done really well there. Pretty sure he's driven in every event apart from one. Has actually gone ahead of Urbeck, but Urbeck is of course on the medium tires. That 10.4. I think a tenth slower than his our last medium lap. So Urbeck just carrying NRL here with a just great performance here so far. But of course, every point is scored in the race, like I just said. Xiaomi's gone second faster with a 9.9, a tenth behind Peace. But there's still plenty of time left for that time to be beaten. But then again, we'll see plenty of cars getting close to those times, hopefully at least, and make it a competitive grid. As now Ruud Gullit is gone third faster. Both LFR drivers within the top 3 right now. A 10 flat pretty much. A 10.1 on those soft tires. About 2 tenths behind his teammate. But I think that's a good time still for, or about 10.5 behind his teammate. But that's still a good time to be. But there's still plenty of cars needing to post a lap here. As Marcus is now improving by, oh, he was improving by 2 tenths. But now lost time in the middle sector, making a mistake right there as well. So probably backing out of that lap. As now you see Ahmed starting this lap and Evan Lover just behind him warming up his tires to set up his lap. Is probably his second run for this qualifying session, and still got 1 or 2 runs left in this qualifying session. Going for the lap right now into turn 1, Tarzan corner. Taking a little bit of a wide apex here. Let's go back on board into turn 2 and 3 right here. Very difficult corner, and then you see the banked corner, the first banked of the circuit here. Turn 4 and slightly losing the car right there. Very difficult corner on traction at the exit there. Completing a sector 1 right now with a 24.5. Going through the long right-hander. You want to invalidate on the exit here. Running slightly wide, so making a few mistakes there, Evan Lover. As he slightly clipped the grass, missing the apex as well, so quite a clumsy lap so far. Losing the car there as well, so he is really just not had the most ideal lap. As Speed has slightly improved his time. As Evan Lover coming near the end of his lap now, going through sector 3. Don't want to hit the inside curb there, otherwise you might spin out. Don't want to run too wide, otherwise you invalidate. Coming to the second banked corner now, going towards that line right now. It will be a 9, a 10.5, which will bring him into P8. but there's still time in there because we saw quite a few mistakes on that lap. So I'm pretty sure Evan Lover can still find some time in this qualifying session. Talking about with Evan Lovers on board lap where we missed pieces improvement by about 20,000, so slight improvement, and will be more difficult for Jaume to get ahead of him, but if someone can do it, it's probably Jaume. I'm on board with Bas here, come to sector 2. Right here, will he miss the apex as much as Evan Lover did? Not as much. Could have taken slightly more on the inside, but I think it's a very decent turn still. 48.9 he did in the middle sector, so improved by about 3/10, which will bring him near Airbag and Seep, but Seep and Airbag are both on the medium tires, so I reckon he's got to find more. He needs to find more time to be near the top 5 here, going towards the line right now. A 9 and a 10, and it's a 10.3, which will bring him into P6, about a 10th behind his teammate here. So CPI high in the standings so far. Decent job from them so far. Asip is now improving his time. 2/10 found in the first sector, which is a very good first sector in my eyes. That will bring him around the time of BT, and still the middle sector to go here. So very good time from Seep so far. Taking a decent line there through the difficult corner. About to complete his middle sector, improving by half a second here. So he should be fairly close to the time of Jaume. Certainly ahead of Ruud Gullit. And battling with Jaume for that second spot here. What can he do coming through the final corner now? The second bank corner now is slightly touching the grass here, which will lose him some time, and will be a 1:9.8, which will bring him pole position right now, ahead of Pease. Pease didn't just gain enough time, and there's still one more run to go. So Seep takes pole position here for this qualifying session. What a lap there from the IRT driver, but final run still to come, and that's going to be a very exciting time. As Apex actually do a second run, I think. Didn't have the greatest lap there, as he's going for a second one here. But what can Apex do? We know how fast he really is. We know how fast he is and how fast he can be, but what can he do in sector 1? It will be a 24.5, improving about a 10th nearly. About 3/4 of a 10th. Coming to sector 2, as someone has left the session. Hopefully he'll get an invite back, but we're gonna watch on ball with Urbeck. Slightly touching curb, didn't want to accelerate, otherwise he was gonna spin out. His team is going 4th fastest, so good time for him right now. Urbeck is 3/10 up, which should bring him around Ruud Gullit and Victor's P4 time right there. Decent exit right there, going to the bank corner right there, using DRS, shoulders run to the line, and it will be a 10 point, and it's only 2,000 behind Victor, so we expected him to be somewhat close to Victor, and he certainly was very close. Very close to that time, just ahead of Ruud Gullit, but can he make it to the box just in time? I hope he can, as of course he's going fairly fast. He won the we can quickly invite Ahmed back to the session. We're gonna get a of course he needs an invite so he can start his final run in this qualifying session. Now he's been invited. There's only 2 minutes left about this qualifying session. I'm pretty sure Peace just waiting to let the BNRA guy through there, so he doesn't get a penalty potentially, or a point deduction. As he's really revving the car, just trying to burn as much fuel as he can. On board with Ruud Gullit actually now. He's half a tenth up right now, which should bring him close to Victor's time, as JR has gone faster with it. It's 9.7 here. It's 9.7, or yeah, 9.799. What a time there from JR. About a half a tenth ahead of Sieb there. As Ruud Gullit is improving by a tenth, which should bring him ahead of Victor and close to the battle for P4 here, which is his teammate. What can he do to the final turn? Fairly decent exit right there. Could have been a lot better coming towards the line right now. It will be a 9, it will be a 10, and he goes P2 actually. Found loads of time in the last sector, and he's up to P2, so Peace and Sieb have all to do if they want to regain the front row here. As Sieb or Peace is pretty much on the same sector 1 here, taking a wide turn right there. On board with him right now. Shifting up to 5th to 6th, completing his middle sector. What is his middle sector? It's about a tenth and a half up, which should bring him ahead of JR once again. JR was very excited about that qualifying probably, but Peace is about to ruin his hopes of a pole position, as Peace is coming towards the line right now. Does a 9.6 actually, improving by about 2/10, which gives him pole position. But there's still Sieb setting a lap time right there, coming through the middle sector here, taking a close apex here, shifting up to 5th now. I think, where will he be compared to Peace right here? He's down in his time actually. He is not improving on his time, so it looks like JR and Peace will be in the front row for the moment, and Sieb will be P4 minimum. Actually, Sieb has spun out of this qualifying session, so he certainly won't improve. He has given it all. He doesn't want to get disqualified by reversing on track, because if he does, then he will be at the back of the grid. But that's a spinner for Sieb. Now on board with Schaum. He's about 2/10 up nearly after sector 1 here, so Schaum proving he's got really good qualifying pace. And he's now coming to sector 2 once again. Very tight sector so far, and he's improving about a tenth and a half, but I don't think it will be enough to beat Peace, and it will be in the battle for P3 with his teammate and Sieb. What can he do in the final sector right now? Very close qualifying session right there, coming towards the line right now. There's an 8 and a 9, and he is P6 actually, so not a great final sector, and it's actually been jumped by Victor right there. On board with Urbeck right now, who's also improving his time, and he's a 9.6 as well, beating Peace right there, so it's a pole position for NRL, and certainly Sieb or Peace won't beat that time, as now Urbeck has gotten pole position right there. What a lap there from Urbeck, pulling out the back at the final moments of that qualifying session. So it's a 1-6 for NRL, and Relentless second and 16 with Farrell Furry just fall down, being in last place right now, so not ideal for him. But with Peace in second place, Relentless is still in a good shape to get some decent points right here. As we see now the order of this qualifying session, we see Urbeck taking pole position. We just switched on board with him. An amazing lap right there at the end, taking pole position ahead of Peace. JR in third place, I'm certain will be happy with that. Looks to be on the pace once again, and he's ahead of Ruud Gullit, Sieb and Victor, who round out 4th till 6th. Also, just look how close the times are from 1st to 7th. Incredibly close there. with only 2 tenths. BT in 8th, Senna in 9th, Marcus, the last guy on the soft tire, must start on the soft tires. Then you have Bas, F1 Lover, Ahmed, Cam Rules, Joey, Farah rounding out the grid, but they can all select a alternative strategy. I'm quickly gonna switch to a different party right now to get my co-commentator in, which will be Donny, good commentator. So give me a moment. Also now here for the Dutch Grand Prix here. Ahmed has joined back once again. Did he join back? I'm pretty sure.
Hello,
he
everyone.
Did. Welcome, Donny. It's good to see you. Of course, you saw a
You.
different perspective of this qualifying session. But what did you think of that qualifying session?
Yeah, it's a very interesting qualifying session. So it's a nice mix up, with the grid. Like we have a relentless driver starting, last, and then we have P's up there. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Also, we have like IRT Steve up there, a rare occurrence. We never really see him up there in a race. So it's really interesting.
Certainly, you're right there, but of course the most important thing is with Seep is he's got to get a good start, because from previous experiences he did not get good starts there from a decent position, which really just sacrifices his race most of all, and especially with guys ahead, maybe not the best in the race. He just does seem to take advantage of it. But let's see if today can change. Of course, we have a fully dry race. Of course, we had a quick lobby restart after my mistake there, not checking the assist correctly like an absolute moron. But that happened, and we corrected it, so it's all good in the hood. So, what are your predictions for this Grand Prix then?
Relentless P's up there with what's it? I'd say Apex second and Rooter Gillett third.
Indeed, indeed, it could be a very interesting race. But you said P's in P1. Of course, he's looking very quick right now. But Urbeck never count out Urbeck being so consistent and fast at the same time. I'm actually going with his teammate taking the win, Victor in P6. I think he's gonna make a good appearance, hopefully for NRL. And then I'll have BT coming in second, and then B's in third place. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a spicy Grand Prix here today.
Indeed.
Spicy Grand Prix.
Could I get an invite to the game so I can, yeah.
If you're quick now before the start of this Grand Prix, I do apologize quickly. Of course, otherwise, quickly. Yep, done, perfect. No issues at all. There we go. As now the first cars are now dialing up to the grid. Bit of a gap though there to the car behind, which I think is Jaum. Jaum certainly bit falling backwards. Of course, it doesn't really matter that much, as now the cars are lining up for this Grand Prix here. Having a different perspective, seeing the back of the cars into, of course, turn 1 are now, the cars are now getting ready for this Grand Prix. You see now on ball with Urpec, lights on right now, and it's lights out and away we go.
And away we go.
Good start there from, it looks like Peace, who's about to take the lead there from Urbeck here. Both drivers going aggressively down the inside. There goes Peace, and he's certainly taking the lead, but they're still side by side there. I think Urbeck's using a little bit of ERS there, but keeping the lead actually, as Peace has gone around the outside. But Thingy has got the elbows out. That's actually, Ahmed's been disqualified from the Grand Prix. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he's been disqualified apparently. As now Peace and Urbeck going side by side. And now Peace is now taking the lead. What a move right there from Peace. A great battle there with Urpek.
He's just displaying not to give up right there because he fought like hell for that position, and it's
Indeed,
only lap
indeed.
one. So imagine the whole race.
Totally agree with you there. And the space was given to each other. There was no initial contact there, so good driving from both drivers there. Of course, we did see
Indeed.
interesting driving standards last week, but certainly today you seem like drivers giving each other room, but don't want to celebrate too early. But of course, it's now Peace taking the lead from Urbeck, who's actually pulling away now Peace. So he's got really good pace, and JR is 2 tenths behind Urbeck. And JR is actually using a bit of ERS, trying to get in the battle with Urbeck here. So Urbeck is trying to take a long game here, and JR trying to move forward as quickly as he can. As now Ruud Gullit trying to follow these cars behind. Of course, we see the usual DRS train appearing right now early on in the race. Let me quickly get the tires up so we can know which tires everyone is on. Of course, everyone in the top 10 has to start on the soft tires, and outside you can pick an alternative strategy. It's actually Bas who's made up, I think, the most ground here. If we just quickly get the position change up, indeed. After Foul Fury, he's gained the most positions, gaining 2 places, and Senna dropping 2 places. So it's not been a good start for Senna, but Bas certainly doing well on those medium tires. So good job from him so far.
Indeed. As we can see, Peter's pulling a massive gap away from Urpeg. I think he's out of DRS range, I believe. And he's setting another fastest lap. He's on a charge, but I think Urpeg may be saving his tires. Just maybe Peace could be using his tires a bit more than Urpeg, to try and get that 1 second DRS. Because I just don't see Urpeg giving up that often. So I feel like he may come back this race.
Totally. Let me quickly switch off telemetry for engineers, so we don't, so engineers can't see their ERS. Of course, yeah, like you said, Peace just got a great pace, but Urpek just being so consistent. It's great at time management actually, because he can really just stretch their tires way longer than any driver really on this grid, and that's really proved to have worked in plenty of races, because then he got plenty of wins. Unlucky for Ahmed, I'm not sure what happened to him. He unfortunately got disqualified here, so unfortunate for the Vora team, who are in a battle with BNRA, IRT, CPI for that 4th place. So interesting to see what's going to happen for the rest of this Grand Prix. So now we're gonna quickly switch on board with Marcus, who's in a close battle with Bas, who's staying in the DRS of his teammate. So good job for him so far. Of course, the medium tires will come to life later on. Later on. So let's see what's gonna happen.
I feel like the softs will die in a few laps. Give it until about lap 7, lap 8, and that's when the medium runners will start to make up some inroads, because around this track is very tire demanding, especially with tire temperatures. So you can only imagine how in only a few laps how the tire temperatures, because these guys are pushing 110%. So the medium runners do have that advantage in a way where they could just, take a little breathing space and then come back later in the race, as the soft runners have to try and make a massive gap so the mediums and runners can't catch them. But yeah,
indeed. Of course, we didn't really talk about much of the strategy, but I think it's just a standard one-stop going from soft to mediums. This track is also not easy on fuel, so you might see some guys struggle with fuel. Of course, me being the fuel burner 2000, of course, I had a league race once where I burned so much fuel that I had to lift and coast so much, and that pretty much lost me like a P8 or something, which got me outside the points. So fuel is going to be very difficult, but I do think everyone in this lobby is a better fuel saver than me, because that's not difficult to do. So let's see how the drivers will adapt to that. But of course, the fuel is going to be a factor in this race.
Will Marcus make a mistake? I think he spun.
Indeed he did. Indeed he did. Like, just as we went on board with him, you spoke about Marcus having a spin. He was in P10, but now that means Senna has moved up one place. But he's actually overtaking his teammate now, Marcus, ahead of Joey, who's on the medium tires. But not ideal for BNRA, who are in 4th place in the standings right now. But certainly with CPI, IRT and
LFR Janum, is it? Going around the outside of Victor? Zhao. Trying to go around the outside.
Zhao, if it's wrong or whatever your name is, then we do apologize. We're trying our best. He is trying to go around the outside of Victor right there. So battle between LFR and NRL, who are actually 2nd and 3rd in this championship. So certainly a battle to watch out for. And Zhao seems to have better race pace compared to other trucks. You saw him, especially last week, just really falling backwards from pole position, or certainly high up in the grid, and then just doesn't seem to have the race pace. But today he seems to be aggressive and on the pace and still in the DRS train.
Seeb and Ruta Gillett could be, really good contenders for the race win, because I'm looking at their ERS charts, and as I'm seeing, Ruta Gillett and Seeb are the top 5 runners, have the highest ERS percentages, so you could watch out for these lot.
Interesting statistic right there. As you see, Urbeck taking the lead of Peace right there, going around the outside.
And Ruta Gillett going around the outside also.
What a move right there from Urbeck, while they're still going side by side. Both drivers giving each other enough room, like on lap 1. Peace trying to go around the outside once again, but it is Urbeck taking the control of this race right now, with a brilliant move around Tarzan, around the outside, and getting the move done. But what can he do right now? And what can JR do, interestingly, in 3rd place? He's falling a little bit backwards from this battle, and certainly under a lot of pressure from Rutte Gullit there and Seeb. But what did you think of that brilliant move there from Urbeck?
Yeah, it was a very, very bold move. I can't say I would do it because, I'm the king of spinning. But, I feel like it was a great move from Urbeck. And as I said before, I think he was just saving his tyres, waiting for the right opportunity to pounce. And as we can see, he's starting to pull that gap away from P. So I feel like Urbeck now is in control of this race.
Certainly, like I just mentioned, he's just so good on those tyres. So weaving a little bit on the straight right there, but Urbeck's just really good there. I'm just timing his moves and saving up tyres, and Peace with the DRS being very effective. As Joey's actually spun right there, going into the pits right now, but Peace is behind and can just save ERS if he can follow the tempo and save a bit of their tyres.
I think that mistake may have curtailed Joey's race, because he was on a great strategy on the medium tyres, and then making that big mistake, causing him to lose the front wing, is going to be very hard to come back unless there's a safety car.
Indeed. Like you said, if there's a safety car, which could always happen, the safety car is on standard right now, so very frequent that could happen. But never give up, because there could always be a safety car and you could get back in the race. Especially if guys start picking up penalties and you don't, then later on in the race you could really benefit from it. But like we see, the top 2 pulling away just from JR, who's nearly falling outside that 1 second window of Rutte Gullit. So I'm certain Rutte Gullit is trying to get way past JR right now, who's certainly, I think, struggling on ERS as well.
Using up all his R's. And is he going to make it? No, he doesn't.
He's taking better of it right now. Seep is following slowly behind as well, as Victor and Jaum looking to go forward. As Bas has overtaken BT, but which caused that overtake has now caused Bas to fall 2 seconds behind. So that's not ideal for CPI, who's now lost the DRS there. Same for JR. JR has lost the DRS to P, so Rutte Gullit trying to get the way past him and Seep as well. Very interesting.
I wonder
battle.
if Keys is using his keys to have pace.
Very good pun right there from Donny right there. as Peace trying to use his piece, apparently trying to stick with Urpek. But JR just doesn't seem to have the pace. He had good pace in qualifying, but in the race seems to be a different story. Or he just could be saving tires. Or of course he has used a bit of too much of the tires, so he's struggling a bit. But Rudiger is being so close right now. Because actually JR has gone into the pits already after 10 laps, so I think he's going for a set of hard tires, because I think it's too early for the mediums. No, he's going for a set of medium tires. And this...
It looks like he's going for a two-stop.
Two-stop potentially. I'm not sure the two-stop is the best strategy around this track, but could be interesting to see. But he's on the medium tires here. This does promote Ruud up to third place and Siep up to fourth. Can they now catch up to the top two there? Of course, they lost the DRS, but Ruud does seem to have good pace. And now in clean air, I think he will start to catch up a little bit, as the gap is 1.4 seconds right now. Now down to 1.3, so the gap is coming down slowly but surely here around the Zandvoort.
I feel like Ruud Gillett could be a dark horse in this race, you know, because in every league race I see Ruud Gillett, he's always that dark horse, always pushing, and always when you least expect it to be right up there, so he could really be in the mix in this race.
Yeah, indeed. Ruud Gillet's always in the mix, but somehow just ruins his own races most of the times. As now Peace and Ruud Gillet's gone into the pit, as Siep and stayed out. As Jean was also going into the pit. But like we were talking about Ruud Gillet, he has great pace, but somehow makes wrong strategy calls. Somewhere like in Hungary, where he decided to go 18 laps on the soft tires, which definitely is not the right call to make. But he's now in the mix and seems to have good pace. I was actually tried to react on the undercut of JR, as JR has moved ahead once again. So this is not ideal for Ruud Gillet, and could be very good for Siep, who is now in clean air, of course on all the tires, but will have fresh tires later on in the race. And now with JR maybe struggling in this race, he can use those tires still to effect, and in clean air of course.
Yeah, but Sieb is under pressure from Victor, you know, so could he really save his tires, or will he need to pit this lap? Because I just don't see Sieb being up there just yet. I feel like he will come late in the last stages of the race.
He's staying out as Victor's gone into the pit, so he is deciding to go for the undercut on Siep and react on the undercut of JR and Ruud Gillet. Let's see where he will rejoin now, as Senna, his teammates, gone into the pits. Obviously yellow flags being a rail car. Actually it's a safety car now. There's a safety car now. I'm not sure what happened there, but there's a safety car now.
Urpek and Sieb could have a great strategy
race right there. As Senna's also going into the pit, and he will rejoin ahead of Peace. As Peace is also going to the pit. Actually, Peace, interestingly, has picked up damage. I'm not sure what happened there, but Peace has picked up damage, and Faro Fury is also going to the pits. I'm not sure what happened to Peace right there, but he picked up damage somewhere, which could have caused a safety car right there.
Well, this is looking like a good race for Evora with F1 Lover and Camrose and Baz. All medium runners will have a golden strategy if they choose to pit.
I mean, this is a golden opportunity, and like we were talking about with Joey's race, if there could be a safety car, and like we said, there's now that safety car, this is a perfect opportunity for Urpek and Siep to make their pit stop, and I'm pretty sure Baz will make a pit stop as well. Alongside F1 Lover and Camrules, and indeed Siep and Urpek are going into the pit. You don't want to speed in the pit lane, otherwise you get a 5-second penalty. As Urpek is going into the pit. They don't have the same box, thankfully. I thought they had. As
Baz, 5-second penalty.
We were talking about the 5-second penalty. Apparently, Donny, we've got some information right here. Apparently, Relentless collided with each other. So both Faro Fury and Peace made contact with each other. It caused the damage. Incredible scenes right there. So the team that has won the championship is the first team to collide with each other. Unbelievable scenes right there.
slightly kamikaze in my opinion, because Relentless are so close to winning the championship, and making a mistake like this could be crucial.
Well, the maths, if you look at the math, I'm pretty sure they have already won the championship. So,
Well, I almost failed my A levels, so mate. So you know, we were just going by my brain cells.
nah, gotta back yourself as well. But if you know, there's only about 88 points realistically still to score, and the gap is 100 points, or about 90. So, I think Relentless have done it. We will have confirmation later on, as of course now the race is busy, so we won't make any confirmation, but I'm pretty sure Relentless did do it, even though in the beginning of the stream I said Relentless have done it. I've just lost my mind. I don't know what's going on here. But let's see. Let's just focus on the race, shall we?
Indeed.
So we're now on board with Urbeck, who's still in the lead. So of course he did have the great strategy call by just staying out, waiting for the safety car. Same for Seep, and this is great for NRL, for the battle between them and LFR. JR now in 4th place, so he lost ground to Victor and Seep. So actually Victor did the overcut to perfection, as Bas now going into the pit, going off the hard tires. Somewhat understand that, removing the 5-second penalty at the same time.
That's a smart strategy, not gonna lie, because of the safety car, he could just pit for mediums and go again.
Indeed.
I wouldn't blame him, I've done it numerous times.
And then the 5-second penalty is of course removed right now. So good call there from, I think, Bas, because if he was on the hard tire he could just, I think he just fall off massively right there. But he has made the right call right there.
I'm rooting for Seep. I hope he doesn't do a kamikaze mistake like he usually does every time he's in a high position. I hope he just turns, Urbeck into horsemeat or something, just to make it so that IRT, get a good result for once,
You're really playing with fire right now, Donny, aren't you? You really are playing with... I hope F4 crash out. Already, one of the cars already disqualified, so...
Coulda, son.
Loving the banter right there between the commentary, in the commentary box, so gotta admire it. Hopefully the chat likes it as well. As now we see the safety car coming in this lap right there, as Urbeck will restart this Grand Prix here ahead of Seep and Victor. Can Victor potentially move ahead of Seep and make it NRL 1-2 for the moment?
Can it happen?
Can it happen? But what can Seep do? Can he get a good exit there? Of course he had a decent start for this Grand Prix, but can he get a good restart right now? His teammate is in 7th place, so good job from Senna, who's also gone for the different strategy. He's now ahead of BT, so good job from him. B-Tech driver.
Urbeck's gone.
Urbeck has gone for it, and Seep is very close to the back of Urbeck, but thinks better of it, going around the outside, as now Victor going actually down the inside right there, but Seep will have a better run to turn 2 and 3. Of course, Victor now backing off of that move there.
I think Seep's tyres may be a bit cold, because I can see he's getting a lot of understeer in that car.
Very true right there, as Seep broke very late and just generally got a lot of understeer. But now we see the tires coming into the picture a lot better right now, as he's following Urbeck right there. About 4 tenths is the gap, as he's actually made a huge mistake right there, nearly. Or made a slight mistake right there, which could give Victor the opportunity to overtake him. What can LFR do from 5th and 6th place there? They've got fresh tires than JR, and they know JR is struggling a bit in the race. So can they move ahead of them and challenge NRL?
Yeah, I think the LFR boys can do it, but they have to clear JR first to do so.
Indeed, as BT is getting...
It seems to be doing already.
Indeed, as BT is now getting past Senna. Senna seems to be not on the pace of the top guys right there, as he's actually defended quite well right there, but can he stick within the 1 second window of Jaume? Let's see if he can. As now Peace is back up to P9, overtaking Marcus and I'm pretty sure Van Lover at the same time. as Bas has already moved up to P12, so good job for him so far. Having the penalty removed and being on fresher tyres compared to JR. 4 lap fresher tyres, may I just add. That could be beneficial later on in this Grand Prix.
Indeed. As we can see, Steve is starting to lose time on Erpek, but Erpek makes a slight mistake, which leads Steve to get closer to Erpek.
Indeed, as Erpek has got more ERS as well, so Steve really trying his best to stick within the 1 second window, but also defend from victors. Being in an NRL sandwich, that's actually not ideal. Erpek's made a mistake. We literally saw that on board with Victor. Erpek running slightly wide there, and Sieb has now taken the lead from Erpek right there, setting the fast lap at the same time.
Lap.
So good job for him right now. We don't see many mistakes from Erpek right there, but it has finally happened, and Sieb has taken full advantage of it. As Pieces now moved ahead of BT, and now in the window of Senna, who's actually following Jaum, who's made some mistake as well, because I saw the gap was 1 second from Senna to Jaum, and then all of a sudden it was 4:10, so I'm not sure what happened to Jaum. But it is Sieb now in the lead, setting a purple first sector and nearly a 9/10 clear, so Erpek might have some slight damage on the floor here. Of course he did.
Yeah, but look at Sieb's ERS though, compared to Erpek's.
Yeah, you're right. You're certainly right. Sieb using a lot of ERS, trying to clear Erpek of the DRS. I'm not sure if that's the best move, because Erpek, of course, will have good race pace. As actually Foul Fury has spun in that difficult turn we were talking about in qualifying. Sieb, I'm not sure if that's the best strategy, but let's see if it's gonna pay off. As now Erpek is still in the 1 second window, using the DRS to catch up once again. A 12-1, so I think Sieb just burned his ERS to get the fastest lap here with a 12-1, which is a good lap time.
I don't think it's working, because Erpek is using little ERS and still only 3/10 off him. So I don't think it's working for Sieb, unfortunately.
Let's see, as Erpek's now using a bit of ERS to stick with it. Well, let's see how Sieb now can manage his ERS.
Could we see a little bit of NLR team orders, because we have a 2-3 for them, so could we get a sandwich between them two?
Indeed, could potentially be the case. Of course, we just saw it was an NRL sandwich before the mistake from Erpek, but let's see how this battle is gonna unfold right here. Sieb has got past Senna, and Senna's already moved 1 second behind P, so Senna really struggling in terms of pace, where trying to stick with.
Sieb is vulnerable now.
Senna's actually lost the car, which made BT go past her for P8, so compared to right there.
Erpek looking to go for a move. Around the outside.
Once again, around the outside. From turn 1, and he's got the move done. I'm pretty sure Sieb is more side by side.
Going into Tarzan.
Oh, no, contact. Both drivers making contact.
Now into the embankment, and Sieb defending.
Sieb keeps the lead as Victor has set the fast lap right there, but it's a really close battle between the NRL and the IRT driver there. And of course JR, this gives an opportunity for him to catch up. And of course to Pieces as well, who's now back in the race in P7 right there. As now Senna has actually spun. Senna's got, I'm pretty sure, got damage. He does not, but he's now in the back pretty much of the grid. Now in P14.
Look, what did you say to Steve? Because he's doing some defense. Did you just threaten to fire him or give him like a big promotion? I don't get it, because he has a lot of pace today.
That's my driver. When the pressure is on, he is delivering, hopefully. But let's see now, coming towards the straight now, starting lap 20 of this Grand Prix.
Now Erpek trying to go for another move,
going down the inside. What a move there from Erpek, and now on the inside, the roles have been switched.
Sieb keeping his car.
Sieb still in the lead here. Incredible battle right. Both drivers getting the elbows out here, but it's certainly proving to be still respectful on track right there, as Erpek just can't find a way past right now, and this does give an opportunity for Victor to potentially get past, and JR as well. But what a battle we're seeing
If I
for the
was
lead.
Steve now, I'd save up all my ERS and then just apply it all in the straight if I was him. Just
But
save up as much ERS as you can and don't deploy it
yeah,
until the straight.
the issue with that is he's barely got any ERS, and the drivers behind have like 60% at least. Same for
Yeah,
JR.
but
JR's got 40%.
if you notice something, Airpack doesn't actually deploy ERS through that straight. He only deploys it through the hangar straight. So if Sieb did know that, he would only deploy it through the hangar straight.
Let's see if as Urbex now using ERS to catch up. Urbex using a lot of ERS there. Seep defending once again around the outside. Urbex goes
Around
in.
the outside.
Now Urbex I think has got the move done. Drivers side by side going towards turn 2.
And
And now
Airpack's done it.
Urbex taking the lead back once again after his mistake. So Urbex back where he was just now. But Seep is not done yet. Now the roles have been reversed, and now Seep can hopefully save a bit of ERS, and then come back at Urbex potentially. Or can his teammate potentially overtake him? Or can JR get past, who is certainly in the mix of this battle right here.
Now it's coming into the pit window, which opens in 5 laps. So could we see some pit stops happening then?
Indeed. I think the drivers will try to go till the end of the Grand Prix. As the medium tires are a very good tire here. But if the medium tires do die off, don't rule out F1 Lover, who is the only driver on the hard tire in P11. So if the medium tires do fall off, then you never know. As now Victor trying to get somewhat past Sieb right there.
Contact between Victor and Steve at the rear.
Indeed, we saw that on board with the far cam there, that Victor made slight contact there with C, but no damage done so far, so the battle is gonna continue.
I think Airpack may be pushing C back to help his teammate out, as it's the NLR sandwich right now.
There could potentially be the case, but that is also a very dangerous game, as of course JR is still in the DRS window, so I'm not sure if that's the right call to make, because it's so close behind. Because if he does push the cars back, then it could push Victor further down. So it's a bit of a risk right there, but of course if it does work out, then they're gonna look like geniuses. So let's see how that's gonna pay off.
As they say, no risk, no high reward, or something like that. Can't remember.
No pain, no gain.
Exactly.
So now Victor saving his ERS. Same for Seep. I think
JR
Seep
could be a crucial factor.
Indeed.
He's just crawling slowly in every single lap. Could he be a dark horse in this race?
Potentially. He's there to be there when one of the drivers ahead make a mistake, because he's been there the entire race pretty much. So Victor could potentially make a mistake. He's got not the most amount of DRS. Steep is somewhat saving his ERS right now, but Urbex it's got less ERS than a couple of laps ago. So let's see if JR just saves the ERS well for the last couple of laps, then he could be in the battle. However, he does have an older set of tires, so he's gonna have to be aware of that. As Victor made a slight mistake, as now Urbex nearly clearing Seep there, setting a purple middle sector right there. So Urbex really finding the pace right now, doing the same as what Seep did a couple of laps ago, using that ERS to clear Seep. As he said, fastest lap now.
What a lap!
Great lap there, but Seep did get the DRS, so all the ERS that Urbex used is now not really worked out, but he did get the fastest lap. So Seep can now just save ERS, and Urbex is gonna have to defend with not a lot of ERS. So this could be good for Victor right there. As now Peace
it's a long DRS trade
into turn 4 there right there. As Peace has got ahead of Rudy Gullit. So good comeback there from Peace, who was in the battle for the lead with low ERS, but he is now in P6 once again. So good job from him. Back in the front battle here. Can he get past Jaume here? So Ruud de Gullit, really unfortunate right there. Maybe struggling a bit with pace, but certainly still in a decent position to
I
be
think
in.
it's turning into a big DRS train because as we can see, first to seventh is separated by at least 5 seconds, maybe, if
Yes,
that.
let me get. You can see that from the leader. Yeah, it's from Marcus downwards. It's 6 seconds, and that's from
Wow.
first to ninth. So that's really just shows how close the grid really is. By pretty much all of them in the in the DRS window of each other. Beat is the only driver who has just fallen behind Ruud de Gullit's DRS, so there could be a slight gap appearing right there, but the gap is still so close. So interesting race, that's for sure. With a lot of drivers not trying to get too many risks. Seep is now falling behind the DRS window of Urbeck, but also clearing Victor nearly of DRS. So the leaders are now just pushing slightly here to create the gap.
There is a factor that that you haven't remembered. The two leaders have literally little to none ERS with Victor at his end.
Because, yeah, indeed. I think I'm pretty sure I mentioned that last lap, but like you just said, Victor's got more ERS because both the drivers in the lead tried to go for fast lap. Urbex got no ERS. Seep is using that to stay within the DRS window. And Victor is really in good shape right now. He's got more ERS than both drivers combined ahead. So he's looking in good shape for potential P2 if Seep just can't stick within the DRS window of Urbeck. And JR is there ready to pounce as well. It's got not a lot of ERS, but still somewhat to use. And then if you go on board with... no, not... If you soon know, it's Victor who's got the most ERS of all, really. There's not really a driver with a lot of ERS as Joey
And
has
Joey's
retired.
out.
Could that be a safety car? It is.
Safety
A
car.
late safety car. Here we go.
Bruh.
What
I mean,
will
I'm
happen now?
not surprised.
I'm
I feel like
expecting.
I feel
You go for it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel like B and LR have turned into the new DRA, just Ferraris.
Oh, so now watching this Grand Prix, of course, you see, I think pretty sure Bas, F1 Lover, Cameron, Senna will all pit for a set of softs. Actually, Seep is going to the pit. Victor, all of the guys, oh my days, all the guys, Pete's got a 5-second penalty for speeding. Every single
Look
driver,
at Urbeck, he stayed out.
Urbeck and Ruud Gullit have all stayed out.
Deep has a good chance of winning this race. Would this be IRT's first race of the season? Maybe? Would it?
But very much with Seep now in P3. Victor has got a good opportunity fight for the win as well, as I think Urbeck will probably move aside. But of course it's very difficult. But interesting, C or P has got a 5-second penalty for so many guys having to pit. He probably underestimated the braking marker, but this will push him down further. But everyone is on a set of fresh soft tires, and the only drivers who have stayed out are Urbeck and Ruud Gullit. So they really have to fight for every bit of track there to keep those cars in those positions. With two
Where is B and LR in the standings?
BNRA, they are in 4th place, and with Marcus in 8th right now. Both CPIs drive behind them, and then ESW in P5. It could be getting closer and closer going into the final round, but I think it's IRT at the moment with the most advantage. Certainly, if they keep this on track right now, they could be about like 4 points behind BNRA for into the final round. So this could be a very spicy ending to the Grand Prix.
I do not know what the hell. And Urbeck decides that he wants to pit with Ruud de Gullit just sticking out your strategy. You might as well. Urbeck's going to drop a lot of positions.
I mean, I understand the decision, because otherwise he would be overtaking quite a lot, and Urbeck is of course a very quick driver, so he is backing on crashes and moving ahead of P. So I somewhat understand it, as Farah is going to the pits again, just getting that one lap fresher
Someone from
tires.
NLR is getting sacked for that strategy.
I mean, if you watch the stream back, then let's see when the safety car did come out. If Urbeck had the opportunity to make the pit stop.
No, he definitely had the
He
opportunity. I
certainly
was on
had,
board.
indeed. He certainly
Yeah.
had. Watching back now, yes. So an awful strategy there from NRL. Um, so that brings LFR into a very dangerous spot right there. I think Ruud might try to back off these guys and get Schaum involved into the race. Schaum's pace was really impressive. Yeah, Schaum was really impressive on the softs, I think, so he could be a factor. And JR might be struggling a bit on those soft tires, so this could be a good opportunity for LFR. And Peace might
Could
get
we
that
see?
penalty removed still.
Could we see Checo Perez in what is it 2021 Abu Dhabi, which Sergio Perez held up? What is it? Was it Lewis Hamilton to get Max Verstappen involved? We could see that with Rudy Gillett and Jaume.
Certainly, you're right. Well, let's see what's gonna happen as the safety car is going into the pits right now. This is a very spicy Grand Prix with only 9 laps to go, 8 after they have gone past the line, the pit or the line, whatever.
And he's gone.
It's gone already, and could seep out potentially, but as all the battle is going behind, with JR trying to go around the inside of Victor here. Is he gonna make the move stick? He does! What a move right there from JR, getting past Victor right there. And this is good for C, because JR is struggling a bit, as Victor's actually hit him. So the battles are happening in the midfield. Plenty of battles. F1
Lover has spun.
As obviously another spinner, I think it was Urbeck. Urbeck has spun, so that strategy certainly hasn't not worked there for him. So he's got damage, I'm pretty sure there. But Ruud still in the lead of this Grand Prix. Siep is so close behind him there. And JR could be on for potential P2s there, right there, if Siep gets past Ruud. But can Ruud defend?
Will Siep go for the move now, or will he be patient?
I think it's better to be patient, overtake him on the main straight here. I think Ruud will use a lot of ERS on the first lap of the restart there, as Urbeck has retired.
And Urbeck's retired!
Will we see another safety car? I don't think we will. It's a VSC. It's a virtual safety car, so drivers have to be under the delta here. And this is so unfortunate for Urbeck, who was in the lead of the Grand Prix here, and just crashed out on his own.
Senna's pitting.
And a very bad strategy. Senna going into the pit, so he potentially could have damage here. Indeed he does. He's got front wing damage, so the virtual safety car might be a blessing for him. But of course, with everyone having fresh soft tires, I don't think it will be enough for him to catch up to the field.
This will benefit Ruud Gillett a lot, because this safety car is just bringing back the laps. So Sieb is going to have to get this move done quite quickly.
But then again, if the virtual safety car goes in or ends before the main straight, then you could see Sieb make the move into turn 1. But let's see. Of course, Sieb will have way more grip than Ruud Gillett, so we're really really unsure what is going to happen. It's gone indeed. JR might have been caught out a little bit from that, but Sieb is really sharp from that restart here into P2 right now. 2 tenths behind. He's nearly pushing
wants this win.
His gearbox. He really wants this win. You said Sieb was doing quite well, but I think he's lining up right now, using all of his ERS.
Wants this win. Is he going to go around the outside, or is he going to think better of it? And he goes for an uncommitted move. Is he going to do it? The grip difference between the soft tires, side by side, coming into Tarzan, now into the embankment turn.
Incredible battling right there.
What a battle. Ruud Gillett defending.
As both drivers are really showed respect to each other, merely making contact with each other. But the longer Seeps wait, the longer or the earlier the tires is gonna go off, and more advantage will be to Ruud Gullit. As now on board with Victor. Of course, he lost ground to JR here. JR still in the mix for sure here.
Now, what Steve wants to take this win. He has DRS. Is he going to think better of it or wait? I feel like it's best to wait.
I certainly agree with you right there. It's just gonna line him up.
He mustn't let this win get the better of him in his head. This is all a mental game, and he needs to come out on top.
I certainly agree with you right there. As we're now on board, about to start lap 32 of this amazing Dutch Grand Prix. Will Seep take it home Grand Prix?
A lot of ERS.
And
he wants to win. He's going to take it away from Ruud Gullit.
Go around the outside.
The outside.
Making contact. But
Ruud Gullit defending.
Seep going around the outside, side by side still. Taking the lead. He's done it. What a move there from Seep. And now Ruud Gullit really has to defend against JR. And now Seep can just clear. Use those tires to absolute advantage. And potential take an IRT win here this season. As Senna set the fastest lap right there. Of course he needs to be in the top 10 for that to count. But that will help him. And Seep now trying to pull away from Ruud Gullit.
Now JR wanting that win. So is he going to try and make a move on Ruud Gullit?
Interestingly, we see Ruud Gullit staying within the 1 second window. The soft tire is not really working out that much compared
no, it's
to...
not.
So Ruud Gullit could still win this Grand Prix. Especially if the soft tires die off, as Van Lover has spun in P12. Unfortunate for him, so E4 won't score any points, unfortunately. So actually the gap is now opening up 8 tenths nearly. So the last corner, the soft tires really proving to make the difference. As now JR is lining up.
Now JR went in that move, going around the outside for that second position. Is he going to do it? Now, in the long build it. Ruud Gullit leaves enough space. Is he going to try and make the move through Tarzan? No, he doesn't. Ruud Gullit still in front.
As we see Jaum
making a mistake with Jaum
on board with JR right now on the back of JR. Victor defending hard from Jaum. Jaum was alongside him, but just couldn't get the move done. We see Ruud Gullit's light is actually flashing right there, so he used all of his ERS pretty much. Same for Seep actually, so JR I think is going to think better of it. As the battle's actually in the midfield with P is now in the battle with Jaum right there. Both drivers nearly making contact with each other here, but Jaum keeping the position here right now. Now
JR looking to take that position from Ruud Gullit.
Let's see what the gap
is he going to do it this lap.
Indeed. Now actually, yes, Ruud Gullit staying in the DRS window of Seep, so he's doing really well right there. But JR is going to
now JR using up all his ERS, looking to go around the outside into turn 1. Is he going to do it? I think he just misses his braking point slightly, but Ruud Gullit leaves him just enough space, and JR has done it.
What a move there from JR. We see so many moves around the outside today. I think that's like the 5th or 6th one today. We certainly saw with JR up to P2 right now. Can Victor potentially do the same? It's actually going down the inside. He spun! He has spun! He's actually spun!
No!
Victor with a massive mistake, and he's out of the Grand Prix. I think that's the first supposed to have to hit the barrier there on the left. That's Victor out of the session. As Victor has unfortunately crashed out, so that means a double DNF for NRL. It was looking great for them, but unfortunately just not worked out for them. As now Max trying to get past CPI Bass, but he's defending quite hard. So indeed the championship is for sure over now, as Relentless will take the win in the constructors will take the championship win here. There's only 2 laps left now, as JR is actually pushed to the back of Seep right now, as Jaum is getting past his teammate Ruud Gullit, who's actually now blocking Peace right now, who's trying to go around the outside of turn 4. Can he make the move stick? He certainly can. What a move there from Peace. We got that on stream. What a move there from Peace, trying to get back to Jaum now, who's still in the DRS of JR. So every battle still happening as Peace has gone off track here. and now behind Ruud Gullit again. So all that hard work was undone there pretty much. So oh, Xiaomi spun! Xiaomi spun!
Oh no!
Xiaomi spun! Which promotes Beast up to P3, and now BT come around the outside up to P3. What a move there from BT, who's all of a sudden come from P6 or P7.
Bro, where did the CPI guy come from?
Where did C or BT come from? All of a sudden he was just there and overtook, and now up a professional P3, but C or Beast is now lining up using his ERS, which he's got left. As Senna's actually
starting the final lap of the race.
P is gone down the inside. I'm losing my absolute mind right here. P is now trying to go down the inside there of BT.
Now Sieb's only got a few corners left to take his first ever victory in this team event. And a first win for IRT also. Can he just finish? We have JR keeping him honest, but I doubt he'll catch him.
It's been a brilliant performance from both drivers. Certainly JR looked to be struggling a bit on the soft tires, but certainly just sticking in the race, and now up to P2 with a brilliant move there on Victor. Was on the second lap after the second restart there. So, but I think it's going to be Sieb stay right there. It's actually P is trying to make a final move now on BT. BT running a bit wide there. But we're now going to switch on board with Sieb coming to Sieb now coming to the final corner now. Going to the back corner. Is his home Grand Prix. It's going to be a win for IRT. What a win there from Sieb there. He's taking the win for IRT ahead of JR. And now CPI BT up to P3. Ruud Gullit still in P4. Incredible drive there from him. P4 for him on those old medium tires. Bas in P5. So both CPI drivers, really good points from them. P6 for BNRA. P is now in P7, so could have been a lot worse. ESW scoring a double points finish with Cam Rules in P8. Xiaom in P9 after that, P9 after that spin, and then P10 for Fire Fury, so still scoring 1 point, and then Senna in P11 right there. What an incredible race. We're just gonna wait for F1 Lover to finish that this race, but what an incredible race we just saw here live on the IRT channel. What did you think of that Grand Prix, Donny?
Yeah, it was a really great race. It was kept me honest. You know, my voice hurts after that race, obviously, but it was a great race, and Steve totally deserves that win. After so much mistakes that he made, it was only coming to him this win. So I'm glad he got this win, because it's much deserved.
Certainly, as we now hear the podium here with Sieb hearing the doubters here, you love to see it, having the Dutch podium here, Dutch win of course. As we now see the champagne here with JR and Sieb, and then further in the corner we see BT celebrating the podium. An incredible race right there. Oh
Dankeschön, Zandvoort, for this great race that we've seen.
I'm pretty sure you said German words, but we'll allow it.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing nearly. As we see Sieb taking the win ahead of JR, ahead of BT, Ruud Gullit P4, Bas in P5, Max in P6, Cambrils P7, Xiaomi in P8, Peace P9 actually. Is that a glitch? I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it's a penalty, of course. Faro Fury in P10, Senna P11, F1 Lover P12, Victor P13 with an unlucky DNF, Urbeck P14, Joey P15, and Ahmed, unfortunate DNF in P16. There, but what an incredible race. Hopefully everyone enjoyed. That was a certain banger of a race. Zandvoort proving to be a very good race with moves around the outside in turn 1, 4, and then even in pretty sure turn 6 we saw maybe one move, but I'm sure you guys have loved it. I've loved it. Donny loved this Grand Prix, I'm pretty sure.
Indeed, I have.
So hopefully guys you enjoyed it. Next week we'll have the final race of this Grand Prix. If you get the calendar up now, we will see Bahrain next week for the final race of this IRT event. Hopefully you guys are looking forward, and then we'll see you guys next week. Bye guys.